We are back with Danielle from the Honey Truck Company. At the start of the show, you were talking about your business and what it's like to be a beekeeper. But right now, we're going to dive into honey, and there's so much to learn about it.
Absolutely. All of our honey is produced within St. Johns County. And it's really cool to talk about how bees make honey. They fly around from flower to flower and they drink that nectar and they put it in what's called a honey crop, or a special stomach that has these enzymes in it. And then they go back to the hive and they regurgitate it to another bee. And that happens a couple of times before they put it in the cells. So technically it's bee vomit, a gross but very cool fact I like talking about. But yeah, and we've got all of our honeys here. We've got our lavender, our dazzle, our vanilla. They have been infused, so they're still wildflower honey that was produced in St. Johns County. And they're really great to cook with. They're good on ice creams, waffles, yogurt, salmon, chicken for the dazzle.
And when you talk about infusion, what does that look like? How does that process work?
Absolutely. So we're very much hive to table. We bottle the honey straight from the hive, and then we put it in a 5-gallon bucket if we're going to infuse it. And then we purchase our lavender flowers. They're completely dried. Our vanilla is grade A Madagascar, and our dazzle peppers are grown here regionally. We dry them out, throw them in the honey, let it sit for a while, and then we strain a good portion of it out, and then we put it in the bottle.
And then what is probably the most popular out of all the different honey flavors that you have?
Absolutely, our dazzle, 100%, it outsells everything else. Like I said, it's good on chicken, salmon, roasted vegetables. It's really good to put on some pizza crust.
And one thing that I note too, that the colors change pretty drastically. Is that from the infusion process, or is that just the batch of honey?
It's the batch of honey. So sometimes you can harvest in the springtime. Sometimes you get lucky and you get a fall harvest here in St. Johns County. But it has to do with where the beehives are, the type of nectar that they're pulling in, if there's more gallberry or saw palmetto in there. It's still a wildflower honey. But yeah, that's what the color is.
And then what about benefits of local honey? A lot of times people talk about that if they eat some, it's helping out with allergies.
I've heard that. I've had a lot of people say that it really helps with their allergies. Just being around the local plants and whatnot tends to help. But yeah.
All right, so I'm going to try the lavender first, just a little bit on there, and work my way through. While I'm doing this, how can people contact you?
You can contact us through our website, honeytruck.com, or there's also my email address, danielle@honeytruck.com.
These are really good. I had a lot of sugar today because we had no-bake cookie dough, so now I'm
absolutely
going straight
sugar to the dome right here. So it's not the refined sugar that you're going to be getting in the store. This is honey. It's the most purest form of it.
It's almost sweeter.
Right. It is both fructose and glucose, which is why honey will eventually crystallize. It is a sugar, and sugar in its natural state will always want to be more of a granular. So if you've got honey that's in your cupboard and you say, oh man, it's just gone bad. It hasn't gone bad. Just put it in some hot water, not boiling, and it will liquefy right back up.
You know what's interesting is that you would think that just having honey in a row, they would all blend together. Totally different, especially these last two right here. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for all your time and information.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Stick around, more to come right after this.
If you get your news on Facebook, important local stories could get lost in the timeline. Don't let Facebook decide what news you see. Connect with News4Jax on